spring of this year, they conducted an undercover investigation of 3 carriage horse stables in New York City. Their goal was to document the working and housing conditions of these horses, and to that end, they produced a report and a video, much of which was provided to them by anonymous sources. They asked us to make it public as we're doing today. Today, we'd like to focus on the horrific Dickensian conditions of some of the stables. One of the stables, Westside Livery, which is on West 38th Street, absolutely the worst of the lot. We question how it could be allowed to exist. Who is really minding the store, and is anybody minding the store? I ask these questions of the administration and the agencies that are supposed to be overseeing this business, like the Department of Health and Consumer Affairs, also the City Council, the Manhattan Borough Office President, and the ASPCA. Although this is not the focus today, this is the same industry that significantly overcharges on the street and on their websites, and anyone official who could do anything about it has turned their back. The most shocking revelation from this investigation is the lack of fire protection, that there's no visible sprinkler system in the stable, as you can see from this. These are fire buckets that are suspended from the ceiling, sand-filled fire buckets. Although the public has been told time and again that the horses live in box stalls and are able to lie down, these horses are confined to small tie stalls, tethered to a feeding trough, which is incredibly inhumane. On several occasions, I've made freedom of information requests to the fire department and the building department, looking for fire inspection records for the stables. Lori Luffman, National Bar and Safety Fire expert, did the same. We were both ignored on many occasions. To date, we have between 40 to 50,000 signatures from people in New York City and around the world, the tourists, who want to see this industry end. Please read the Animals Angels report that we've provided to you, see their video, and please report this to the public. It's time that this inhumane and unsafe business is shut down. It's a blight on New York City's image. Now, at this point, I was going to introduce Mary Xanthos. I don't know, Mary, if she's already spoken to you. Okay. This is Mary Xanthos. She's a New York City veterinarian.
Three main issues uncovered by this investigation that I find most disturbing. The first is the complete lack of fire safety at Westside Livery. There's no sprinkler system, as Elizabeth pointed out, and there's only one means of egress. There is a tremendous amount of hay and straw stored there, which is incredibly flammable. And in the event of a fire on the ground floor, the steep ramps would act like a chimney, sweeping smoke to the upper floors where the horses are housed, tethered to their feeding troughs. How the city has allowed this hazard to people and animals to persist for all of these years is beyond my comprehension. It shows a great degree of incompetence and foolishness on the part of the regulatory authorities. The second issue of concern is the lack of a ventilation system. Holes punched in the side of a building with some rickety fans does not make for a ventilation system. Stagnant, ammonia-saturated, dusty air is what these horses come home to breathe after inhaling vehicular exhaust fumes all day. This combination of toxic, stagnant air and stifling hot temperatures in the summer is extremely hazardous to the delicate respiratory system of horses. The third issue of concern is the size and condition of the stalls. The floors are sprinkled with a minute amount of straw bedding, so the horses are forced to stand and lay on the bare floor. In the morning, they are soaked in their own urine and feces due to the lack of bedding for absorbency and comfort, which inevitably leads to filth, sores, and infections. Despite the fact that Westside Livery has been cited numerous times by the ASPCA for inadequate bedding, this practice continues. A 12-foot by 12-foot box stall is the standard minimum recommendation for a 1,000-pound horse, with the stall wall length being 1.5 times the horse's length. Most of the carriage horses are large, heavy-bodied draft and or warm blood crosses, greatly surpassing 1,000 pounds. The horses at Westside Livery can be seen sticking out way beyond the edge of the stall wall, and the total square footage of each stall is clearly much smaller than the bare minimum for a large-bodied horse. Consider that these horses can never adopt normal body postures. They are either in straight-bodied alignment in their tie stalls, or they are in straight-bodied alignment between the shafts of their carriages 24 hours per day. Since the horses are denied daily turnout, they can never roll, groom one another, scratch themselves, or lie down while fully stretched out as they need to in order to rest properly. These behaviors are necessary for the physiologic and psychologic well-being of these horses and cannot be attained without daily turnout coupled with much larger box stalls. In summary, Westside Livery Stables does not adequately meet a single requirement for these horses to live in a humane and healthy manner. Between the conditions in the stable and the conditions on the streets of Manhattan, it is impossible to provide these horses with the humane treatment they deserve. This is why, as a veterinarian, I support an immediate ban of the carriage horse industry in New York City, rather than more tiring talk of further regulation of an industry which has profited for too many years from the mistreatment of animals. Just as an aside, I just wanted to point out one more thing. We got a release today. There was a terrible barn fire in Ohio, and we don't know all the details yet, but again, it appears there was not an adequate sprinkler system, and we think at least 60 horses, 50 to 60 racing horses perished, and 2 people are missing as well. And I just think this ties in with the safety issues we're discussing here. It's a matter of time before something tragic happens. I thank you for your